Pharaohs aleinu, sukat shalomecha, v'takneinu be'yetza tova milefanecha. והושיענו למען שמך.
We had a marshal, and he called the name of Józef Pilsudski. And during the Bolshevik War in 1914, he was saved by a Jewish woman. And she hid him until the Bolsheviks lost. And so he was very fond of the Jewish people of Poland. And until he died in 1935. So in school, I remember there was a song about him, and it started, "To nieprawda, że ciebie już nie ma. To nieprawda, że leżysz już w grobie." And that means it's not true that you are gone, and it's not true that you're already buried, because the whole country is crying on your funeral. So it was quite a moving, and we had to learn this in the class. And I was at that time 10 years old. Yes, it started. To nieprawda, że ciebie już nie ma. To nieprawda, że leżysz już w grobie. Cały naród myśli, że już leżysz w grobie. That's how I know.
Remember that song, Jak na wojence ładnie?
Keep right going. How's it going?
Yeah, that's probably army songs when you were teaching us in school.
Okay. What does that mean?
I can't even interpret either.
Okay.
You know, my Polish is no good at all.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So,
Ever since I came to the United States, I just put German language aside, and Polish aside, I just concentrate in English.
Hi, I'd like to introduce the guests we have today, and a special guest today, Steve Feinstein, right over there, if you can get the camera. And I have Joe right in the middle, and Murray. And we're going to continue where we left off, but we're first going to do an exercise. There's a painting that we worked on over there, which, if you can remember, what you guys chose a color and a placement of that gray rectangle. So is there any particular white or black or relationship between white or black that you particularly find meaningful to you in regard to your experiences?
You know, the black stripes can also be interpreted as rails.
Okay, the train.
Train.
Tell us how that worked.
Well, it's
How did the rails work? What was your experience with the rails?
we were transported over these rails into Brooklyn Road and railroad cars, open cars.
Okay,
And of course, we only were using 2 rails,
right.
but there were many other ones. When we arrived at this big railroad, not station, but this big field with rails, and we were crossing all these rails to go into the camp. And I remember I was just walking across one rail to the other. And there were many rails at that time.
Okay.
Brooklyn Road, yeah.
I'm going to paint out this little one over here, which means you're going to put gray over it, white over it, this tan over it, take it all the way up, and you're going to paint this one out. So we have sets of 2,
That's
2,
right.
4.
I just wanted to tell you that this had this sort of Kazimir Malevich quality, because it's aerial perspective of suprematism.
That's right. So
Well, you know, when I looked at this, when I saw the white, I looked at it as contrails of Allied planes flying over the camp, which they did.
Yeah, but
They
they
bombed-
but they did not bomb.
No, they bombed in Silesia, they bombed other
That's
places,
right,
yeah. But you saw the contrails, right?
Should we play with the triangle one for a while, and we come back?
I think the triangle to me makes a lot of sense
Okay,
because
it's a double symbol.
double symbol
Okay, so we can put it right here.
right there.
Okay.
Here, I mean, with this one coming in from the right, could have positive or negative meaning.
Yeah.
It depends what the flesh color image is on the right. Because it could represent some sort of liberation, it could represent oppression. It could be something totally independent, it could be non-representational. But when the triangle's inside, given these guys' experiences, and knowing what you know from this, I mean, you know, you're talking about a victim inside the
Okay,
perimeter.
so
When it's
it
inside,
becomes a person.
it becomes a person, yeah. Joe, did you ever get close to the perimeter fence at Auschwitz, at Birkenau?
By the fence?
Did you ever get close to the fence at Birkenau?
I didn't go too close to the fence. I used to walk over about.
And if you're making the suggestion that this is the camp.
I saw a guy in Auschwitz walk over to the fence and
It was electric.
Yeah.
What happened next was that Steve sent me this aerial photograph of Auschwitz. And we decided to randomly select a spot. We just kind of pointed to it. And wound up being one of these sections in here, I believe. And we blew it up in Photoshop, put it to the computer, and distorted it into a perspective so that it came out like this. This became this. Then, in order to make this thing work, when we tried to put this into the painting as part of the collage, it forced us to turn the picture from this way back to this way. and we put it in like this. And then these really became railroad tracks or airplane streamers. And I think it worked. And that's how we finished. We need to get a start on this picture, and what we're going to do is I'm going to process you as you smell these smells in terms of what it reminds you of. And whatever that is, you're going to describe it to some of the artists here, and they're going to draw very simply a diagram of the space that this reminds you of. What does that remind you of? Is it, let me help you with this. Is it an outside odor or is it an inside odor?
It's an inside odor.
Okay,
And
is it,
it's going to be more perspiration, sweat.
okay. Now, what is the, where did you experience perspiration and sweat?
Well, for instance, when we were laying in the barracks, and to go to sleep, there were wooden planks, and we had to get in just like sardines, one next to the other.
Okay.
Friend of mine, that's
And at the top of the head, there was one board built more of an angle, so that this is where you put your head.
Okay, was it long?
Yes, that was the deal. Here.
Okay.
That's it.
I was only 2.5 months.
That's it.
Anything happened in the middle of the night?
Oh, yes, well, yes. The previous evenings, we were getting a little medallion. A little medallion, and what you had to do the next morning,
That's how you make them.
you go to a window, like the window 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You give in this medallion, they give you the ration, whatever it was, the food. And every morning, you see, they were pulling out some dead people from the bunks. They were pulling them out. They were dead. And the thing that they didn't find was the medallion in their pocket.
So people
were killing each other just to take away from this little medallion so that they have an extra ration.
Could you hear somebody being killed?
I heard the...
You heard the screams?
Screams, oh sure.
Or was it far away from you or close to you?
Well, I would say 20 feet.
Did you know who did it?
You wouldn't dare to know who did it.
Did anybody look like they were eating too much because they had an extra medallion?
I tell you, the guy who was hiding his food, he had a good place to hide. You will never know. Listen, the food was so little that he probably
He
bites.
He hit it in the stomach, right? Hit it in the stomach.
Yeah, you have to laugh.
There were no heavy people.
That's right. You know, heavy people's right.
What smelled bad there?
Like dead fish or something.
What smelled like dead fish at the camps? Anything? Try to tie it back to an experience, a place.
Some people would smell like that too.
Prisoners?
Yeah. 'Cause,
Where was this at? Were you working next to them, or was?
no, well, they probably didn't wash themselves. Once a week they took us to steam house, you know.
Okay.
Did you see Lantzmann's film, Shoah?
Sure.
This is the building.
It starts with Simon's
That would
River.
be
Yeah.
like, or was
That's
it,
the-
was
This
it
down
where?
here, the people,
Also
you know.
on the river.
Down here?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what happens.
I don't think it was a big dog.
Yep.
Regular, you know.
Just a regular sized dog?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little wider.
Wider?
you know.
Okay. How wide? Wider?
That's about right.
Right there. Was it a double door?
Every day about maybe 500 people, kids, women, old people, and they said to take your clothes off, we're going to take a shower. So they put them all in that place and close the doors. Instead of turn the water on, they turn on the gas. Screaming, yelling, you know, and all this on silence. I met him when they built that synagogue.
Friday night.
So I used to go for services there at Bethel Friday night. I saw him, I used to see him on Highway 100 for years. I didn't know who he was. In the morning I used to see him going a lot of times. And so finally, when I went to services, after services they have, sweet table and coffee, people talk, Saw him over there, I said, I walked over to him, I asked him, I've been seeing you on the highway for 100, and I worked in Bloomington also. When he started talking, answering me back, I could tell right away he had a little accent,
Yeah.
So I asked him right away, what country you come from? He said, Poland. I was from Poland too. And they lived only about 75 kilometers from the town where I lived. I used to go to that city where he lived a lot of times. My dad was conductor on buses to collect the money. So he used to take me with vacation time. I started asking him what chemistry was in. I started figuring it out, and then the last two were together, I didn't know him.
Wow. That's
I
crazy.
was with a lot of people that didn't know anybody.
I mean, what are the chances of that?
Not too well.
Yeah, and me seeing him on Highway 100 and recognizing him. I mean,
Okay.
No, but I was just gonna say that I've been really touched by what you guys have been saying. And it's really, really powerful. I wanted to kind of just retrace. You guys were in a lot of different camps,
Yes.
and I wanted to kind of document which camp you went from.
Like I said, the first two camps I escaped. And first time I went back home, my parents were still at home. And 2 weeks after, they liquidated the whole town, took all the Jewish people, and sent to Auschwitz, or if you're strong enough to go work, they pick you to work. So they picked 100 people to go to Germany from there, the town where he lived. He lived on about 75 kilometers from where I used to live. So they picked 100 guys and sent us to Germany. We had help build a munition warehouse. It was there maybe 6-7 months when the building was finished. They didn't need all the people there, and so they took all the 100 people I went with. They said we're going to send you to a different camp. They took us to railroad station, put us in cattle boxes, And it was, just like herrings, You couldn't move around, And this, we went to a different camp. All of a sudden, I think overnight in the morning, when we get to the camp, we could see Auschwitz.
I was real interested in the sign above Auschwitz, and I know you guys touched upon it earlier. And what exactly?
How about Matt's 5?
What
Yeah.
exactly, does it translate to some, what does it
Yes,
translate?
work makes you free.
It
Yeah.
makes you free.
See, that camp when I got to Auschwitz-Birkenau,
Right.
it's part of Auschwitz.
Right.
And remember they mentioned about Mengele, Dr. Mengele? He was the one there.
They called him, he had a certain name.
That
Angel of
Death,
Death.
yeah. The rest of them had to take clothes off and see who could still work, you know. So they took about 40 of them, put them on one side and 60 on go to work, you know. And then the others they sent to crematorium. And then when we had to go take a shower, you know, and when we got out of the shower room, they had clothes for us, you know, the striped ones. And they took all whatever we bought there, they took everything away from us. And then all of a sudden they put us in a room, punch numbers on the arm.
And you want to ask some questions about that too?
How did that work? Did they line you up?
With
and-
some pins with ink in it. There's punch holes. You can see it here. And he was screaming. One guy got hit in front of me because he was screaming.
Because you screamed in pain, they hit you?
Yeah.
Did they?
And it hit him right in the face because I was screaming.
With their hands or with a
Yeah,
rifle?
like that, yeah.
Okay.
I still remember that. So I just bite my
Yeah.
tongue, you know.
Did it
Yeah,
even?
you can see it as little holes.
Okay, so there's a series of
Yeah.
holes that just do it over and over.
Yeah.
You know, it was a microscopic tube,
Right.
and the ink was inside the tube. And see, I was pretty fortunate because I had my numbers printed
On your uniform.
on the uniform, on the striped uniform, and so I was not tattooed. The only camp that was tattooed was Auschwitz and Birkenau, period. You had thousands of camps, and only two camps had tattoo was Auschwitz and Birkenau. You probably heard the Bitch of Buchenwald, did you? You never heard of the Bitch of Buchenwald?
Why don't you tell us?
Oh, in Buchenwald, the Obersturmbannführer, his wife, she was also running. And what she did, you know, after they cut skins off from dead prisoners, and she made lampshades out of it. And a big story about it. And this is why they called her the Bitch of Buchenwald.
She did that from
She did
people
that.
from Buchenwald?
Yes.
I remember Mengele, you know,
Yeah.
when I was in the camp. And you went through every few weeks, barrack by barrack, you had to take your clothes off and see how strong you had to work, you know. If they thought you were too skinny, put you one side and the ones could still work on the other side. I went through 3 times. I was more afraid when I saw him than all this time in the camp. He was the decide, either you live or die, you see.
Oh, it was just a event like this.
Yeah.
You look at yourself.
At first I didn't know what would happen to the other ones.
I didn't know which, you know, on one side was gonna live and the other one wasn't.
Joe, did everyone recognize this as a Mengele? Did everyone know that?
I wouldn't recognize him now, he's dead.
Right.
that march it was strictly a march of liquidation. At that time, the Germans knew the Americans are getting closer. And of course, the Third Army, Patton's Army, yeah. And so, we were about 1,500 of us. And we were walking for 4 weeks. And whoever was in the tail of the group were cut off every day and shot. And whoever could walk and lay down was shot.
Where were they taking you to?
You see, we were walking only through the woods. They had maps and they never wanted us to go through towns. Farms, you know,
They want you to
forests, only forests, only. Well, and in the back of us there was, they call it the dead commando. And the dead commando, they picked some strong guys from our group, about 10 of them. They were digging shallow ditches. After whoever was executed, they threw in the shallow ditch and just covered it up and keep going. So they probably executed by then, I would say maybe 1,000 of them already. That was maybe about a week before the liberation. And they still felt that we were too large of a group, so they just went into our group and just cut off. They just cut off 20, 30 at a time from the tail. And you had about a half a dozen assessmen who did the shooting. And I was one of them. And they took me to the death commando and I was supposed to be executed. But luckily I was the only one there, for one reason or another. So they held me and I knew my next forest, that's going to be the enemy. So I usually have a habit, since I was singing all my life. So I take it, don't. And
Well, you might take a break.
I'll take a break.
Let's take a break. Doesn't count.
So they held me, and the one who did the most shooting seems to be a Yugoslavian assessment, because Yugoslavia, there was some in Yugoslavia who went together with the Germans. There was a certain part of Yugoslavia that they called, the German-born are called Reichsdeutsche. The ones who went into help the Germans, they were called Volksdeutsche. Volk means land Germans, and Reich German is from the original part of Germany. And because he spoke kind of broken English, and he was wearing his SS uniform, he was an officer, and he did the most shooting. Anyway, the guys were holding me, this other group, you know, that was walking, we were only maybe 50, 60 feet away from the regular group. And they helped me, and I said to these guys who were helping me, maybe I can swing for him. So they said to me in Jewish, it's like a gunshot, and nothing's going to help you. That was the answer. Anyway, but I didn't pay any attention. And I don't remember, I did things, I was singing something, I don't know what, I don't remember. It could be that this particular assessment felt there's only one to be executed, which was me. And he maybe felt it was worthwhile to just take one into the woods. Or maybe I thought maybe he's married, he has a kid my age, and maybe he felt sorry or something. Anyway, as I was singing, he shouted I should run back to the group. So these two guys let me loose, and I went back to the group.
Well, one of the things we were thinking about when we did it this way is that you naturally are going to kind of want to look right there. This is like the inside of a room that comes around you. That's what we were hoping. So this should be kind of a picture that sort of confines you, so that makes you feel a little bit trapped and you're looking out. All of that. I was born after this happened, quite a while after this happened. And so from a fairly young age I've known about it, but it's always seemed very academic, like removed from me and my existence. But listening to you guys talk has been really powerful for me because it really brings to home that this happened to real people just like me, and it could happen again if we're not careful. And never been in a war, but it's really scary for me because I'm also a father. And I've got kids and I've missed war. My generation is lucky. None of us had to go to war. But I think about my kids and I think about them going to war and the things that can happen to them. It really scares me.
Second one is too many people. Too many people. Number 9 is a hiding place. A hiding place.
Hiding place.
Or a place that.
Yeah.
Number 16, footsteps in the snow. Footsteps in the snow. So what would, footsteps in the snow, what would you interpret that as?
Okay.
How would you draw that?
Joe?
Huh?
Did you ever see those footsteps?
Snowball, huh? The snowball.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Which of these draw your attention now when you look at them all and don't think of anything?
Wow, kids.
Like
No, there's, I didn't see any kids there.
6 fingers represent
They didn't
6
get a
million.
chance to play when they
Okay,
drawn it down.
okay. Yeah, that's good.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, because of the 6 million, so they have 6 different
We didn't play
walls.
cards there.
Pick your weapon.
I have to put a train here. You know,
Okay.
That's good. we'll kind of come back.
Okay. You picked out were being in the woods, which is this part down here. Right? You will do that. Being in the woods, which is this part down here that he drew, and then this was kids playing soccer. And when he did these cards, of course, he wasn't really thinking about his war experience. But as we got to the painting, then he remembered that at the prison camp, some women had brought their kids, and they would just play around at the camp. And they were not, I don't think the women were prisoners. I don't know if they were wives of people that worked there, but somehow these women were there and they brought their kids, and the kids just played around.
Here's something I was thinking of for the very first time, because when you're talking about this, I started to go back in time, down into this area and start feeling what the relationship was going to be. And this becomes a field of these floating things like a marsh. What if we had some Bosch figures in this field? Maybe behind some of these green things, we turn this into real space. Yeah, so maybe we can, if this is here, and it slowly turns into another train right here. And imagine if this is blown up, and we reduce the size down to like that.
Here is when they surround
That's right.
towns, you know,
That's
pick
right.
up all the Jewish people.
That's right.
It reminded me of that.
So that's almost like being recaptured again, huh?
Mhm. When we were 6 boys, I was the oldest of the kids. I must have been maybe about 11 years old, the rest of them down to about 2. And we didn't have any toys, so we had 6 chairs. We put one chair in front of the other and pretend that we were riding a train. We used to fight. Everybody wanted to be the first one to
Joe, that's what I want you to put outside. I want you to put the 6 chairs and make it into a train outside on this drawing, okay? So we're gonna see it again. Go for it. Just start any way you want. You can't do it wrong. Whatever comes out, we'll take.
Platted homes, falling trees.
It's good. Okay, the number 15 is a famous monument.
As it could be also famous personally? Yeah, sure.
6 angles?
If you have a unit and you want to make 6 angles out of it. Take a stone.
hexagon?
Hexagon, yes.
Like that?
That's it. That doesn't look like excellent. You're an artist, I'm not. Yeah. Look at the top, that's really good. This is a monument.
Okay.
Wow. Kids. No, I didn't see the kids.
6 angles represent 6 million.
Okay, okay.
See?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And here in Minneapolis, when I came here, we built a huge monument at the
Yeah.
on 10 and 70. There's a
Yeah, you can
cemetery.
take more.
Huge monument as you walk in.
There it is.
And is it hexagon you said?
Hexagon.
Hexagon.
Yeah.
And my family's names are on it.
And this is a monument for
For the newcomers who came here and
Okay.
they lost their parents and whatnot, their wives, and there's a list of all the names. And my parents are
You want to
there
take a
too.
blank one?
This is something, and the design was because of the 6 million, so there's 6 different walls. But that's huge,
Huge, yeah.
very huge, and maybe 10 feet high.
And it's still there.
Still there, yes,
I'll maybe
Yes.
go look at it.
yes. My last name is Brandys, see?
So who paid for this?
Read it. You see what happened? See, I organized, when I came here in 48, we organized the New Home Club. In those days, only 3 people were here, and each one contributed $25. And then we went ahead and we made this monument.
It would be more appropriate actually to move it to the JCC or something, you know?
Oh, that would have been something, yeah.
Because I don't think most people know it's here. I had heard it was here, but I'd never seen it.
You've never seen it?
No.
What do you think of it?
It's nice.
It's still in good shape, you know, after all these years.
marbles. It looks like it's brand new.
Yeah.
Is it inscribed in life there?
Hey Joe, what do you think of this? Did you ever see this before? No, it's the first time. Yeah. I didn't know it was over here. Yeah.
It's time to move it to the JCC. I think so. Okay.
So you'll notice that out in the front, we dug up all the grass
I saw that.
and we poured those 2 concrete round patios. Well, just to the left of that round patio, right in front of the building, is where we would like to put the monument.
And here it will be living.
Well, there's 2,800 people a day through the
Yes.
building now, so
Yeah.
it's not a body.
That's the place, yeah.
This is the
That's right.
place.
And so you wanted the monument on the orange, right?
The monument is yes.
Okay. Works here better. Because first time you said over here,
Yeah, okay.
but then how big?
You know, the idea of seeing through it might be good also.
You want me to take one of those?
Take
This one?
Yes.
There's one area, and the next one was a couple days through.
That's okay.
Kids, yeah.
That's fine.
Good.
What do you think?
Yeah, I've seen that before in
Did you?
pictures, yeah.
Well, leave it like this.
Leave it like that. What about this one you have black?
Oh, I see. Yeah. Just like it is, the tape and everything.
This way, a little bit further up, which it will also point, look at these tears.
Okay, yeah.
See? And it's the woman's hand,
So it comes in like this.
something like this, and it signifies what, see what's going on. Or do you think?
I think so. I think this is wonderful, which Emily and I found last time, was the white that when it goes over the border, the hand becomes illuminated with the white around it, you know, as it goes into the memorial. I think we have to overlap something and come out the other side, you know what I mean?
I think we should overlap
Have it go behind him. And then come back out here
Okay.
or something.
Well, let's try that out. Who gives us the better angle? That's not to work now. Do you think we have to come back at all? What do you think? Come back.
Oh, that makes it like a path.
Yeah. Try to tell you.
Yeah.
I say, wait, we gotta get this going parallel. Small radio or something.
Yeah.
Now it's the idea of the rifle butt being at an angle coming at you. It's more like a rifle.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
That's nice. Wow.
It's the yellow triangle again.
Yellow triangle.
Other pictures.
Yeah, I like it. There has to be more than one reason why something works. Comes back to that.
Oh, did I go too far down? Yeah, that's what we were thinking. So would it stretch too much?
Can it stretch at all? Hi. Cameraman.
Oh, yeah.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
How's her English now? How's your English
Oh,
now?
excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. You're really good there because she's working now, right? Aren't you working?
Yes.
Yeah.
What did that put on? Hey, pretty girl. No
See,
more.
the teacher, you told all those kids ask different questions, you know.
Yeah.
And I explained it to them. And then one kid came over to me after it was all done. He says, I'm German. We're born in Germany. He was about 11 years old. And he says, I'm ashamed that what the Germans did to the Jewish people. That sure made me feel good, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really.
They call me Uncle Joe after.
Some of the kids, they don't know, and then they don't believe that the Holocaust happened.
Yeah.
But they're slowly taking and making understanding.
Oh, boy.
You do a pretty good job there, Joe.
Huh?
You do a pretty good job.
Yeah. I gotta turn it over. Oh, that's what they call that strudel.
How long you been married now? How many
It's
years?
gonna be.
50 years next month, next
So we
year.
gonna have a big party?
Well, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
How much we can afford.
Okay. Well, maybe your kids will surprise you with something.
Maybe.
Our grandson is going to have a
My
bar
two sisters and my brother.
Oh, wow.
See?
Yeah.
And this picture was taken, I think, in 1936. Those are my parents. Let me take this off.
But why do you have the dollar there? You can leave it on. You can leave it on.
Well, this is my first dollar I earned.
Well, leave it on there. Leave it on there.
Yeah?
Well, that's really. Oh, that's nice. What's your name?
And this is Jacob, and this is Chaim. And we were 1 year different. He was born in 23,
Yeah.
he was born in 24, and I was born in 25.
Okay. Wow. Tell us what the song's about.
This is the evening Saturday, Friday night song service. Yes, the beginning of the service.
Right. Is that what you're going to be doing?
I'm going to do this tomorrow night.
Okay, good. And that's what's going to happen in the rehearsal later tonight?
Yes, this is what we're rehearsing tonight.
Are you going to do a solo again? Or somebody
I
else
don't
going to do
think
that
so.
one? Somebody
This
else will do
time.
it?
No.
Okay. When was this recorded? When was this recorded?
Oh, about 5 years ago.
Okay. And you've been singing
Since 48.
48, that's what I saw on the
55
website.
years.
Right.
Let's sing. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart, may the words of my mouth, meditation of my heart, be acceptable unto thee, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer, my rock and my redeemer.